All right, now time for us to get into the next bit of this discussion. And being a Tuesday, People and Politics, we're going to have a discussion in terms of just looking at a myriad of issues. The next 30 or so minutes with me in studio, I have got Reuben Liyala, who is a contestant member of Parliament, Mathare constituency here in Nairobi County, and the Labour Party of Kenya. And actually, he is the Secretary General of Labour Party of Kenya. He's also a political analyst and an engineer by profession. What an illustrious CV. Reuben, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Welcome to the studio. You came so early. Time management is of the essence, right?
Was taught the same.
Oh, okay. Perhaps we went to the same class. Our lecture was the same.
No. Actually, it's a bit different for me. I'm one man who likes being late because of where I schooled.
Right.
I schooled in the UK, and there's a way lateness just frustrates you out there. Yeah. So you get to learn their ways, and so here I am. I appreciate. And I know it's substance to me today. Absolutely. Yes.
And I hope that you will be early enough to serve the people of Mathare constituency, because we have only 41 days to the poll. And I would imagine the level of enthusiasm that you have in terms of time management and managing a constituency is equally important. How will you run a constituency more so in the county of Nairobi, Mathare constituency?
Thank you, my brother Victor. To start with, that's an elaborate question. This is where I would start from. For sure, it is not a race for my prowessness. That is where we get it wrong. Management is never about who is at the peak of the mountain. It's always about who can bring together the team, who can bring up the best team, who can motivate, who can bring up people who are more hopeful to fight for their own space.
Right.
Yes. So as I look at Mathare, I'm looking at a situation where what is lacking most in Mathare is public participation. Yes. It's a situation where the current MP thinks he knows it all. He got to do it the way he wants it, without apparently consulting the Mathare constituent. And at the end of it, the result is not what the Mathare people would embrace as their own. There is this time that I know the biggest factor for campaign was infrastructure. And I would see, God rest his soul in peace, our former president, Mwai Kibaki, campaign and say, I'm gonna do all that I'm bringing on the table is infrastructure. And his biggest opponent is my current presidential candidate, Raila Amolo Odinga, his right honorable. And also he would stand in the podium and he still do the same, say infrastructure. And at that particular point, our biggest issue was, how can Mama Boga transport his mboga to the market? Yes.
Yeah.
And how can we open up our market? Now, His Honorable the President toiled as an individual, self and single-handed, without even a deputy. He did it for us. Currently, we are ranked the 5th in the continent are the people who have the best infrastructure. Then we need to move to the next step.
That is not something to take for granted.
Yeah, no. That is where we go wrong. If all we look at is to a reason to complain, then we will not have the push, the hope for tomorrow. We need to come to a point where we are able to acknowledge as a people that where we were yesterday is not where we are today, and where we are today, we need to use each and every single opportunity to push us to a better tomorrow.
But now, as an aspiring leader in the county of Nairobi, the Kenya's biggest GDP comes from this particular county. But you as leaders, do you see that as a factor to consider, to bring people together, to grow the nation, and to walk the talk?
I sit in the Secretariat of Azimio. I have been part of the team that have gone through our manifesto. And I can attest to this country that where we are today, we are more hopeful than we were yesterday. And I'm looking at a situation where the leadership that should be coming in the next government, God willing, my candidate wins, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm looking at a situation where we have looked at the details of each aspect of our true details as country in terms of who we truly are.
Right.
Yes. And I'm seeing a situation where each and every section that brings value to our economy has been touched in our manifesto. But let us not get it wrong. It is not about what we have written in that manifesto. It is for each of us as Kenyans to find a space where we can fit in.
An individual contribution.
Yes, in that manifesto.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the president is not going to be moving to each university or each primary school or each secondary school to motivate our people. It's going to be all of us. A teacher needs to do what he needs to do. Mama Boga needs to do what she needs to do, and Boda Boda, and all of us as it is. It is a country that needs to realize that your individual contribution adds to the bigger agenda of the country.
Okay, fair enough. Let me come back to an individual position now. You are a candidate, Mathare constituency. What is your manifesto, in a nutshell?
To start with, the majority of Kenyans have been taken for granted. We have members of parliament, and I say this with a little bit of pinch of salt, because I don't mean to be harsh to the Honorable House of the August. I say this because I've studied what we do. As a Kenyan, I've crisscrossed my country, and I know majority of the CDF committees, they operate based on them being, in quotes, self-sufficient, all-knowing, and stuff like that. We are at a point where some of us have realized all this attitude brings and grooms up a lot of corruption. Like, for instance, my brother, if I made you the chair of Mathare CDF,
I would be so happy.
You would.
Before you finish your statement, I would be so happy.
I believe you. I want to believe you. And it is an honest answer.
All right.
To an extent that I want to let you know that because you'll be so happy, you would be tempted to be biased, to practice nepotism, to practice tribalism. Yes, it is who we are. So I know it will happen the same. It doesn't matter whom you put there, he will be biased. So then in Mathare, this rather round, we are saying, we don't want to set up our brothers and our sisters. We want to bring public participation into our problems. Like, for example, in Mathare, the issues that Kiamaiko dwellers are facing is very different from the issue that Mlango Kubwa people are facing. The issue that Mabatini people have, their priority will be very different from the hospital ward.
Yes.
I can tell you what Ngei is facing is very different from what Huruma is facing. So because we have come to realize our problem are actually localized, so we are saying we are going to set up committees in each polling station, in each ward, a number of them, as it has already scientifically been demographed by IEBC. We are going to use the same model so that when the problem is down, it's escalated to the committee in a way that the committee cannot blame on nepotism or tribalism. And they actually, the CDF committee in this case will be an organ to execute the mandate that has come from
You know, you've talked about a matter of public participation, which is actually one of the backbones of our constitution. Again, the most progressive constitution, so to speak, in the world. But when it comes to that aspect, you find that most leaders are left to be sole decision makers, so that you don't have, wananchi do not have a platform to question their actions.
That is the biggest undoing of my predecessor in Mathare, and not not only him, actually I would say close to 99% of our members of parliament currently, that is what they do.
Then where does that leave common mwananchi?
Yes, that is where corruption starts from in CDF. The day we realize that our fellow Kenyans who have given us the mandate have the rights to decide what they want, to prioritize their problem, that is the day we will start reducing corruption. I am a believer of the manifesto of Azimio under the leadership of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And I can tell you, he's not joking when he says corruption will be a thing of the past. He's sat with us, he's spoken in no uncertain terms about corruption. He supports what we are doing, our campaign, but we also understand corruption has to be dealt with without compromising. Right. So as a leader in Mathare, I'm looking at how can I be able to meet the needs of my leader? How am I able to add value in the leadership of Raila so that at the end of 5 years, we are not judged as a corrupt government? Because I ascribe to his leadership, and I'm going to be part of that government.
Let me ask you a question. As per the survey, a majority of Kenyans are comprised of youth. There's no doubt about that. But when you look right into their faces, Mathare being representative of what Kenya is all about, what do you see in the face of young men out there who graduated from campus 2-3 years ago and still working with their brown envelopes of looking for papers looking for jobs from door to door, hopeless, but with the hope that at the end of the day something going to come up? What do you see in their faces?
I want to apologize for my answer because I know a lot of young men will take it wrongly. But I believe in this because I'm old enough to say what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
Number one, youths, believe it or not, we've been youths also. You look at us today, we are gray and old and retiring, but we've walked the walk that you're walking. What determines your future is your belief, how committed you are to that particular cause. And I want to tell the youth of this country, yes, I'm not saying we are where we are supposed to be. Like, there's a lot of room for increment in terms of our opportunities, but I want the youth to know that we are counting on them. There's no country, there's no Kenya without them.
Right.
So whoever wants a white-collar job, push it. Let nobody tell you that the way is to go for your own project. Those who think they can be able to run their own project, start from wherever point you need to start. Push a handcart, get a barber shop, whatever you need to do, do it. Because I can tell you, it takes a man or a lady to believe in himself, dream, and push himself. That way, us who are older than you will see amongst your ranks, who can we believe in? Who can we mentor? Who are we able to pump our time, our experience into? And that is what separates you from your peer. Yes. It is the truth, harsh as it sounds. I know. We need our youths to stop bickering, to stop complaining. Get whichever space you have, use that opportunity and push it like it is the only thing you are created to do. That is how our country is created.
That reminds me of my 3 moving words. Victor, just begin.
Wisdom.
Yeah, Victor, just begin. The moment you are going to lose hope, just think of those 3 words. Reuben, just begin. And then you'll count yourself through 3 weeks later on and you'll see how far you've come. All right, you are an engineer by profession. And when you look at housing, for example, in Mathare, in Nairobi, and in Kenya in general, one of the big 4 agenda of the president was to give an affordable housing to wananchi. Let me get to your point, first of all, generally speaking. Where are we in terms of housing, affordable housing, in general?
I'll start by saying it's an opportunity to congratulate my president. It saddens me when I hear people talk ill of him, because this is a man who have pushed these agendas, especially the housing. I know a lot of capital and finance has gone into our housing, especially in Nairobi. Yes, there are multi-billion projects that are ongoing, courtesy of the president. The president doesn't need those houses. Yes, he's doing these projects. He's pushing his agenda for our people in that direction, courtesy of his concern for his citizens. So it saddens me when people, especially in UDA and that other end, castigate a man who has single-handedly actually pushed agendas without even a deputy. It saddens me at all. Actually, it truly bring me very low, because I imagine me being him, pushing this agenda like I have done, and still people not acknowledging. But coming back to your question, and my answer would be this. In Mathare, I know, first we have a lot of problems. To start with, there are areas where we don't have even title deeds. And you see, development will not happen. Substantial, permanent buildings will never come up without a title deed. Yes, 75% of Mathare doesn't have title deeds. So if we are supposed to sort our issues at Mathares, the first thing we would need to do is to actually accept that we need to start working on our title deeds. Yes, with the title deeds, then value will be added to that land in a way that we can actually count on it, leverage on it, and cause it to propel us and catapult us to greater heights.
But generally speaking, is it achievable, the affordable housing, nationally?
It's very achievable, but I know the dynamics are different based on where you want to achieve that objective.
Right.
Like, for example, if we are talking of affordable housing and we are mentioning places like Langata or say Kileleshwa, these are areas that most dwellers are affluent, educated.
Yeah, the construction is controlled.
Yes, so it's a situation where you are able to easily go through public participation, and the understanding of the citizen will be easier. Yes, as opposed to that, where I come from in Mathare, it's a bit different. Yes, you will have a big, nice proposal, but people will just put it down because, for one, they want to imagine, oh, he's doing this because he wants to issue a contract and then he will get a kickback. Yes. But I know with enough civil education, our people will understand. If Mathare, we come together, work together for solution that is best on the ground, then we can achieve everything that we need to achieve for the sake of the interest of our citizens in Mathare.
I'm told we are almost coming to an end, but let me ask you this question. A day after you're sworn in office, how will you translate your engineering prowess to your legislative role as a member of parliament?
To be honest, I want to be a bit rude to a profession that I really believe is worth it. It's the oldest among us, the profession.
Exactly, right.
The legal fraternity. Kenyans, if you would hear me, please don't vote in a lawyer. I am grateful that Raila is an engineer like me. You see, we look how we are trained. We are trained to look at the problems and find solutions. Lawyers are trained probably to look at how can we get to create a problem and then, and then provide a solution. Yes. So, as an engineer, I would say this. Yeah, there are lots of issues in Mathare. We are facing water problems. We are facing issues of abolition blocks down there, sewage lines, water lines, electricity, you see, housing, insecurity, and all this. And I can tell you, what is screaming out of our problems in Mathare is insecurity. Because this particular factor affects even the risks when a business is being, an appraisal is being done for a business in Mathare.
Right.
The appraisal will feature differently from a business that is based, say, in Lavington, because the risk, the exposure to the risk is higher in Mathare.
Yep.
So our problem, our main problem is not based on infrastructure. It is based on before the space was created for, say, people like us, the population was too big. Actually, I would challenge anybody. There is no place in Kenya that the population density is equal to Mathare. It's a small place.
Right.
But the number of us is so big to an extent that you'll almost say that 90% of those who are released from jail are my brothers and sisters in Mathare.
Okay.
So we need to start from this point where our brothers need to be accepted, those who are from the jails, and we need to create an opportunity that they are embraced and able to work. You see, the system of Kenya today, even if you're a graduate, but your fingerprints are already picked by the agencies, you can't get a job.
All right. I'm told they're running out of time, but you said that you love time management. I want to put this to test. That camera, 20 seconds if you can talk to the people of Mathare. In 20 seconds, we are running out of time. Reuben, we'll do this again.
Okay.
Right.
Let me say this. My bros and my sis, hii Kenya ni yetu, Mathare ni yetu. Hakuna mtu anakam kutusort, ni sisi tujisort. I know I am weak without God, and so I pray that all of us would embrace this beat, because it is out of experience that I speak, that we can embrace each other, work together as a team, na tuweke Mungu mbele. Yote itawezekana. And one more thing, a nation can never be built without God and people respecting their leaders. I trust my people to do those two things, and we will sort all our issue. Thank you.
Wow. That is a perfect point to leave it at. Thank you so much, Reuben Liyala, who is the Party Secretary General of Labour Party of Kenya, and you're also salivating for that seat, Member of Parliament, Mathare Constituency in Nairobi County. Thank you so much, sir, for coming over. We're going to do this again, but because of time, we have to end it right now. All right, so let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll be crossing over to Radio Taifa, where Mwamkondo Rashid and Mwajuma Chozi will be having that discussion with Okongo Omogeni, that is Nyamira Senator. They have got an amazing discussion. That is something that you don't want to miss. Let's take a break, and we come back straight to the radio department.